Hello? I need some energy up here. I'm not feeling very well, so if you don't give me energy, I might delay you and you might not get to lunch quickly. And I know you want to eat lunch, right? Okay, please sit down. So before I start talking, I'd like to say, today we celebrate 10 years of the Youth Empowerment Summit. As someone would say, what a wow. Martha, I'm so proud of you and what you've done and how far you've come. Well done. It takes a lot to start something, to keep at it, and to bring it this far. Sometimes you don't always see the rewards, and so you have to motivate yourself and keep going. She's had 10 years of inspiring young people, empowering them to rise, to learn, and to break barriers and lead. This milestone proves that when the youth are empowered, communities can be transformed. I want to challenge you all today. What will we be celebrating in the next 10 years? I'm sure Martha will be having a 20th anniversary. But what will you be celebrating in the next 10 years? It depends on what you decide to do with your future starting now. It's easy to be inspired when you sit in a room like this and you hear all the powerful speakers who have come and gone. But how about when you walk out of here? When you go to bed and you wake up tomorrow morning and the inspiration dies a little bit. Another morning, then you forget some of what was said. A third morning, then you forgot everything that you heard. I'd like each and every one of you to take an action today. What do you want to see in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? What do you want to see? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? We've heard a lot said about legacies. And I'll bring you a quote from Maya Angelou where she says, if you are going to live, leave a legacy. Make a mark on the world that cannot be erased. Many people come and go. What do we remember them by? If our lives on earth are supposed to just be passing through, then why do we live? Each of us has to make a mark on the world before we live. And so, what impact will you have? What impact will you leave behind? What legacy will you leave behind? And by the time we leave today, I want each of you to purpose in your heart what you're going to do differently. What do I have to tell you today? I think 2 years ago, I joined you virtually. Maybe not everyone here today was here that day. I'll encourage you to dream big and set audacious goals. You should dare to dream because dreams do come true. But you only dream if you are willing to put in the work to achieve that dream. Once upon a time, I had a dream. I had a dream to break a barrier and set new norms that will create a role model for others to follow. I sat in my office and I said, I'll be the first at something. And I said it very flippantly. But then I thought, what can I be first at? And I took certain steps in my life to see how I would make that dream come true. Today, I'm the first Ghanaian and the first female CFO for MTN Ghana. Before I took the role, no woman had ever taken. Actually, after taking the role, I understand why. But you know, we are capable of so much as people, and we tend to underestimate what we can do. But if you dream big and you set goals and go about taking steps to achieve those goals, believe you me, dreams do come true. But it is not the kind of dream that you go to bed, you snore through, and then you wake up the following morning. That one, it won't come true. It's about waking up every day, dedicated to a purpose, to a goal, and taking the steps to reach there. And then you've got to break barriers, and you've got to believe in yourself. You can break through any limitations. Don't let society or other people define what your destiny should be. I got bored of my profile, but one thing Gina said made me say, made me think I should mention this. I started off as a science student. I did O-level science, A-level science. I entered university and I was admitted to a pre-med program. But by the time university opened, I had decided I wasn't going to do it. And I was very confused. I said, oh, I want to do banking and finance. And I heard as a science student, if you go through agricultural economics, you can end up in banking and finance. So I went to do banking and finance. Please don't treat your subject choices like that too. Well, by the time I finished agricultural and economics after 3 years in Legon, I learned that doing agricultural economics on its own will not get you into banking and finance. There are other things you have to do. So I went to work in an accounting practice to learn finance, the basics of finance, Finance 101, which I hadn't done in school. I had never done business. The thought of business studies was a barrier in my mind. But one thing my mother always told me when I was growing up is, barriers are meant to be broken. And so I applied myself, I dedicated myself, I worked hard, I studied. And it's not like it was easy. Learning accounting, I failed a few papers, but I resat them and I got through. And you know what? I'd like to say I'm one of the finest accountants I know, even though I say it myself. I believed in myself. So you should always believe in yourself when you purpose to do something. Do not lose the sight of education as a foundation of freedom. It opens doors for you. And education, it can be formal education, it can be skills education. Educate yourself. Wherever you find yourself, educate yourself. Learn from whoever you meet. Learn from whichever situation you find yourself in. And you know, the youth, we keep saying the youth are our future, but the youth are also our present. Africa has the fastest growing youth population in the world. And it also has the fastest growing digital economy. The digital economy is real. We heard Ebenezer speak to us about the MTN Digital Skills Academy. Take advantage of it. Learn new skills. You should think about not just finding a job. About 25 years ago, somebody asked me a question. Are you looking for a job or are you looking for a career? And that question changed my life. Today, I want to plant a seed in your mind. When you are done studying, would you be looking for a job? Will you be seeking to start a career? Or will you be starting a business? That is what digital skills grants you. You can start a business and you can empower communities. See a problem, find a solution, impact lives. We sit here today. How many of us have heard about Uber? How many of us have heard about Uber? How many of us have used Uber? Do you know how Uber came about? Two American guys were in Paris, went for a party. They finished late on a winter night, and they were looking for a taxi. They couldn't find one. And then an idea occurred to them. What if I could order a taxi on my phone? So they went back to their country. They used their digital, and now there are so many AI tools. My son says, why do we go to school, mommy, these days? Everything is on ChatGPT. And I said, there's a lot of false information too on ChatGPT. That's why you go to school. But they researched and they started Uber. Today, Uber is used in several countries around the world. So you can sit here in Tamale and you can have a product that you can market globally because of digital skills and education. So empower yourself. It brings about financial independence. Let me do a short quiz. What is the opposite of up? Down. Okay. What is the opposite of black? Okay. What is the opposite of success? Actually, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is actually a part of success. I have failed many times in my life. But what I've also learned is that the biggest lessons I've learned have come from some of those failures. No one can ever say they are successful if they've never failed at anything. My mother used to tell me that failure doesn't exist. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, because when you fail, you actually learn something. So she said, don't dwell on failure on its own, because you either win or you learn. And if you think about it like that, every failure you go through, you see it as an opportunity to learn something you didn't know. That's not to say when you go to school, don't learn and fail your subject. So, huh? Are you hearing me? But in life, there are many situations that you will come across that don't necessarily go your way. When I sat in secondary school like you, I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I'm not a doctor today. Does it mean I failed? I have found success in other ways and in other things. And so I want you to think of failure as a step to success. And those of you sitting in this room today, you are potential role models to your communities and to the people who are not in this room. Once again, I ask you, at the 20th anniversary of the Youth Empowerment Summit, would one of you be standing here inspiring others? That wasn't strong enough. In 10 years, can I challenge people in this room to be standing on this podium speaking to other people in this room? You have to own your voice. We've heard that said. And you have to own your value. I realize that we live in a world and a time today where everything is about speed. But I've also learned in my many decades in life that there are no shortcuts in life. And so, what I would say is that whatever you do, wherever you find yourself, get depth, get understanding. Because when you do, you can leapfrog many levels. You can actually advance faster than you would have if you had gone step by step. Do not underestimate the lessons you learn at this stage of your life. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you start. It's about how you get on, how you move on, how hard you work, what you put in. That is what will change your future and the future of the generations that come after you. So, if you want to see real lasting growth, you should embrace learning. You should embrace the process of understanding what goes on around you. And prepare for the opportunities when they come. I always say that time and chance will always meet opportunity. The opportunities that will be your breakthroughs, you don't know about today. But you can prepare for them whilst you wait. At a point in my career, I knew I wanted to be a CFO. But I knew I didn't have everything I needed to be a CFO. I was working in management accounting, and from my profile, you realize that I'm trained as a management accountant. I knew I needed to do a bit more financial accounting. So I asked for an opportunity to work in financial accounting. It wasn't a promotion. It was a lateral move. So I exchanged with a colleague. Then a short while later, the person doing that job actually left the organization. So guess who they asked to come and do that job? Guess who? Yes. Because I had prepared by taking that opportunity. And then after I had done that job for about 6 months, our CFO was asked to act as managing director. And then she looked in her team. Which member of her team had done both financial accounting and management accounting? Me. And she asked me to act as CFO. So you see, I could have been working for years to get to CFO. But by preparing myself, when the opportunity became available, I was able to leapfrog others who perhaps had done one thing for a long time. And that was my first foray into CFO-ship. Today, I've been a CFO for over 12 years. So do not wait to see the rains falling before you get out your umbrella. If you know we are in the rainy season, when you are leaving home, take your umbrella along. So that when the heavens open and the rains pour down, you're ready with your umbrella. So prepare. And how do you prepare? You learn, you get experience, you get the skills, and you prepare yourself for the opportunities that you would want to take advantage of. Your best life is ahead of you. And I'll tell you what I wish somebody had told me when I sat in rooms at your age. Enjoy the journey. And when I say enjoy the journey, it's not just about partying, party after party after party. No. It means pause and appreciate the times and people in your life. Pause and enjoy being a child, a teenager, a youth. I find when I meet young people, they're always in a hurry to grow up. And actually, I think I was that way too. I wanted to grow up to earn my own money, to buy what I want to buy, so that I won't go to the market and tell mommy I want Cerelac. She says, no, you need Cerelac. You buy Gary. But you know, Hindsight is a beautiful thing, like they say. Enjoy the time you are in, because there's a time for everything. And stay true to yourself. I always tell this story that when I was going to Form 1, many years ago, my mother packed me off with my trunk and chobox and 2 words. She said, "Know thyself." She said, "Know where you are coming from. Do not ever forget your background and the lessons that you've been taught at home. Don't go to school, find friends doing this and say, 'Me too, I want to do this.' Don't lose you due to the pressures of the world around you. Remember who you are at the core and stay true to that. It will be your guiding light through life. And take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't do all the things that you know are not good for you. And I know when you are in school, there's a lot of pressure to do all kinds of things. Don't fall prey to some of those things. There are people I went to school with. There are people who were smarter than I was in school. And today, they are nowhere to be found because of the choices they made. The choices you make today will shape your future and determine where and how your life pans out. So please make the right choices. Above all, give God a chance to lead you. I know there are Muslims here and there are Christians here. Believe in something. Believe in someone. And let who you believe in lead you. Because our inner moral compass, nothing can replace our inner moral compass except we ourselves. It is easy for you to shut down your inner moral compass. And when you've shut it down a few times, it doesn't speak again. But that is how you go astray. So know thyself and keep true to yourself. Today we celebrate 10 years of empowerment. Let us look to the next 10 years. What story will you write for yourself in these next 10 years? What impact will you leave for your family, your community, and your country? Ghana depends on you. I sit down sometimes and I wonder, what will Ghana look like in 10, 20 years? Many of us have done our bit. Maybe we have a bit more to do. But what shapes Ghana's future? What puts us on the world map? And what sets us up to compete with the rest of the world? It's in this room. What difference will you make? What impact will you make? I want you all to stand with me. I want you to say something after me. I want you to finish stretching so that you can say what I'm going to say with vim. I want you to say, I am worthy. And say it like you believe it. I am worthy. I am capable. My purpose is to be impactful. I am here to make my world better. I will put Ghana on the map for the right reasons. And that is my call to action for you today. Thank you for listening to me.